Welcome to Nintendo Engineers. I'm your host, Chris Tysis, and we're here with the NNN Show, episode 141. And we're here to talk about Nintendo, a court case, and a court case that I actually want them to lose. Now, you might be wondering why, seeing that, I'm a big Nintendo fan, as you may have guessed by the background. But basically, in the past year, the European Consumer Rights Authorities has been looking at probably Nintendo and other video game companies over digital eShop refund policies. Now, the Norwegian Consumer Council started the process by stating that Nintendo's strict no refund policy was against EU consumer protection laws. So Nintendo of Europe is based in Germany. So the case was moved over to the German regulators with a trial to be set in Germany. Now, it all started off when Norwegian news outlet Pressfire started sort of broke the news and started talking about that. And the judge is expected to make a ruling by early January about this particular issue. Now, with this situation, the Norwegian Consumer Council is happy to keep this case going into the European Union's higher courts. Now, basically, the argument of the issue is the eShop purchase agreement basically forces consumers to waive their right to refund. And Nintendo, very interesting enough, just looking at this this article here, they are going to be defending the refund waiver, citing Article 16 of the European Consumer Law Directive, which allows refund waivers as long as the consumer gives consent prior to a purchase being finalized. Now, the Norwegian Consumer Council disagrees with this, saying, especially with pre-orders, claiming that the Consumer Rights Directive, the EU, closes this loophole and makes refund waivers illegal until performance has begun. So it's a little bit murky, some of the courts and things like that. And obviously, the EU has been cracking down on this sort of refund policy stuff, Valve, Google, Apple, things like that. So this particular court case is going to be important. Now, what do I think about all this sort of thing? And all this sort of action against Nintendo and all the court case stuff that has been happening. Now, I actually disagree with Nintendo. Nintendo's is basically the bad guy in this. They don't want refund rights. As soon as you buy your game on the eShop, you don't have any rights to refund it or do anything like that. So they want to make sure that as soon as they've got your money, digitally wise, you can't return it. Even if the game has bugs in it or it's a game that was rushed or issues and things like that, which is pretty poor. Now, here in Australia, we have consumer rights and all that sort of thing, and you have like a 2-year warranty thing or 3-year warranty. I have to double check on that. But anything physical, you've got that right of returning the item and getting it replaced, getting it repaired, or getting a refund. When it comes to digital copies and digital media, it's a very murky area because it's never really been tested in court. No one's actually sort of gone after video game companies like this. So this is, the beginning of this sort of action that's happening. And for Nintendo to sort of go, well, we want to uphold this right that we have, which I don't think they do. And it's pretty poor by Nintendo. They don't want this type of thing to happen because people could legitimately be asked for refunds on games that they don't like, or a game that is faulty, or a game on day one release that doesn't work properly. The software keeps shutting down. So for example, if a Fortnite was a paid game and there are a lot of bugs and issues with the game, the graphics are poor, the software keeps shutting down when you play something like the Team Rumble mode or even half the game half the time. If it was a $60 game, it would be well within my rights to ask for a refund because the game's faulty, for example. Under the current measures of Nintendo, if you buy the game and the game's faulty, tough shit. You just wasted $60 or $80 here in Australia. So, and if Nintendo loses this case and it pushes forward, it means that you will be able to have your own rights. The digital rights will be the same as buying any physical product that you buy in Australia, and that will be the right thing to do. So Nintendo here is not doing the right thing, and that is not fair, and it's a pretty shitty practice. And I would say that I'm not the only one who believes that Nintendo should not win this court case, and it is not very good for them. Because if I buy even, any digital copy or game or anything like that, imagine if the Joy-Cons was a digital thing, how many problems that's had, or that applied to physical video game stuff, your Joy-Cons are not working, can't return it, don't have rights in that. So, and it should be the same for all digital copyrights and that, especially on PC and Sony, Microsoft, where bugs and issues do happen a lot more often, and that sort of thing does, which is unfortunate. So yes, it's going to be interesting about how this court case goes along. I will be keeping a bit of a close eye on it, and it'll be interesting to see what the result will be, or if it does escalate to the European Union's High Court. It's going to be interesting, and it will have an impact on the video game industry in how refunds are doing, because if it happens in one or two countries, other countries will look and go, we should do the same here. That makes sense. So that is all that I have to speak on this matter, and I shall see you next time on Nintendo Engineers.